Hey everybody, thanks for joining in again. This is episode 16, 17, and 18 of Coast to Coast. Started combining them because we're getting into the plain states. Not a lot of topography for me to show you, so pretty much flat land, but there's still a lot to talk about. So we're going to be looking at the journey from Lincoln, Nebraska to Iowa City, from Iowa City to Indianapolis, and from Indianapolis to Wheeling, West Virginia. So we leave Lincoln, Nebraska, and we're in Iowa in not too long. I didn't get the welcome to Iowa sign, but as you can see, at some points along the highway, Iowa has some interesting sculptures that I wanted you to see. For example, the ones we just passed. Now, Iowa and Nebraska are truly the breadbasket of this country. I cannot tell you how many farms we passed, and the camera shot doesn't do it justice, which almost kind of makes me wish I had a 360 camera which spins around as it takes video, because then you could have seen to my left and to my right. Now all you're seeing is straightforward. But I promise you, on this flat land that we're passing through, as far as the eye can see, and you can see like to the horizon, all you can see is farms, 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 and more farms. And I'm struck also by the change in the scenery, change in the ecosystem, as it were. We came out of California to Nevada to Colorado to Wyoming. You saw a lot of desert, a lot of scrub bush, a lot of, kind of arid land, barren landscape, as it were. A lot of cattle farms. Now you're seeing all of this lush and fertile fields, all of this food is being grown for America and all around the world. Trust me, I must have passed 100 miles of corn. Iowa is the only state that's bounded by two navigable rivers. The Missouri on one end, which we crossed when we came over from Nebraska, and the Mississippi on the other end. Here you see some windmills that are going, nowhere near as many windmills as we saw in Kansas, but windmills nonetheless. So we did stay overnight in Iowa City, and I took this snapshot from the side of the road. Wanted you to see how lush the farmland was there. Wasn't a lot of places to stop along the way. We overnighted in Iowa City, and then we struck out in the morning for Indianapolis. We had a really good weather riding day. It was overcast for most of the day, so it hadn't been anywhere near as hot as it was the last, probably 10 days. We were, in fact, running from the devil, trying to get going early and shut down early before the hottest part of the day occurred. So we're going across into Indiana eventually, and we were just rolling through farmland, and more farmland. Iowa is the United States' leading producer of pork, corn, and eggs. It is truly the breadbasket of America. So hats off to all the farmers in Nebraska and Iowa keeping us fed. Just a few more miles between us and the state line. We've crossed all of Iowa and we're approaching the border. I told you the Missouri was on one side, and now we are getting ready to cross, you guessed it, the mighty Mississippi, the Mississippi River. And I wish you could have saw over the bridge abutment like I could to saw that the Mississippi River is very much still a working river. We have a very nice bridge span that we're getting ready to go under, and it will take us to the great state of Illinois. it comes. Right here. I always get excited when we cross another state boundary. The great state of Illinois. We are here. We are rolling, still rolling east. So Illinois is home to Chicago. Chicago had the world's first skyscraper back in the 1800s. Illinois has over 8,000 miles of road, which doesn't sound like a lot until you realize it's second only to Texas. Yeah. In Illinois, I had a little bit of what I thought was a problem, so we pulled into Andre's Harley Davidson dealership in Urbana, and the technicians got right on it, looked at the motorcycle, told me everything was good to go. And so I was like, if it's good to you, it's good for me. We're going back on the road. More about Illinois. Illinois does a curious thing. It gets so cold in Illinois that the train companies set the tracks on fire in certain strategic places because the cold will make the tracks constrict and cause a possible accident or catastrophe. So you can find YouTube videos of train tracks on fire in Illinois, and it's on purpose. They do it with gas-fed heaters. Of course, Route 66 starts in Chicago, and it goes all the way to Santa Monica Pier. Route 66 was used as part of the migration for people going west. It's probably one of America's first highways. And I don't know if you knew this, but Illinois has the world's largest bakery, the Nabisco Bakery, which has a production floor of 18 million square feet. Indiana is next, and we're still moving east. Indiana, the Hoosier state. Nobody really knows where that name came from, but they got it nonetheless. Did you know that Indiana produces more popcorn than anywhere else in the United States? Could be because the Orville Redenbacher plant is there, but nonetheless. Indiana is known as having the first, or hosted the first, professional baseball game. Indiana, of course, is the home of the famed and famous Indianapolis 500, which was the first long-distance motor car race, I think, in America, definitely in America, or maybe in the world. And the Jackson 5, yes, of course, are from Gary, Indiana. And so while we were rolling through Indiana, I had to put on some I Want You Back, back when it was Jackson 5, Michael and Jermaine and Tito and Marlon and all the rest of them. Through Indiana, now we come to Ohio. That's where I'm from, my home state of Ohio. So much I could tell you about Ohio. Ohio has sent 7 of its sons to the Oval Office. The first street light was put into action in Ohio by a man named Garrett Morgan, who's a black inventor. 25 of Ohio's sons and daughters have become astronauts, and 3 of them have gone to the moon. Thomas Edison is from Ohio. So many other things that Ohio's known for. Right now, you're looking at a long shot of the Columbus, Ohio skyline. Columbus, of course, is the capital of Ohio. If you notice, there's a change in topography. We're getting out of the flatlands, I'll call it, of the Midwest. We're looking at the hills of West Virginia. We'll be coming across the state line here in just a couple of seconds. We got a little bit of moisture on the camera because not long before we arrived, the area had had some rain. There's the West Virginia sign. Did you know that West Virginia is the product of several formerly Virginia counties that seceded from the state of Virginia over the issue of slavery during the Civil War? So they became West Virginia a state. West Virginia is so close to Maryland where I live. We come over here from time to time to just ride. I love riding through West Virginia. Did you know that 75% of the state is forested? 75%. It makes for some gorgeous and beautiful scenery if you're out this way. I would suggest you take a road trip through West Virginia. So this is Wheeling, West Virginia, where we are going to shut it down and stay the night. This will be our last night on the road. And so we decided to splurge a little bit on our accommodations. For the last 18 days, we've been not staying at the cheapest place we could find, but we've been getting some pretty reasonable rates and all that comes along with it. So we decided to splurge a little bit and stay at the Hampton Inn. We were not disappointed. It was a great last night to have on the road with great accommodations, great hotel staff, and all that. So we shut it down here at the Hampton. Don't miss the last episode, episode 19, from Wheeling, West Virginia to Maryland. You will not be sorry. Thanks for following.